What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In Maze of Millennia, we got the final piece of support for the armored cards that we got in Age of Overlords, giving a boost to some Exceed decks. But first, if you can trident those thumbs up and subscribe buttons, it would mean a whole lot. To begin, we're going to start here by activating the Tenki, and this will get us the addition of any Zoodiac monster. You don't have to get a specific one in this particular scenario, we're just going to add ourselves the rat. If you do get yourself the rat, you can use its effect, send any other Zoodiac name that you would like to send, and from here we'll go into the Chaka. Now we can use the Chaka to go into our fortress, and with 2 materials we can use its effect in order to get our 2 searches. With the new card of Maze of Millennia, Zoodiac now has a play that you can go first and second with because of Armored Exceed. It reads, target one face-up monster you control and one Exceed monster in your graveyard. Equip that monster from the graveyard to that other monster on the field as an equip spell with these effects. The equipped monster's attack becomes this card. The equipped monster's attribute is also treated as this card, and if the equipped monster attacked at the end of the damage step, you can send this card to the graveyard as a cost. The monster it was equipped to can make a second attack in a row. And the really cool thing about this is that because you get to target an Exceed monster, you actually get to equip it onto the full armored Dark Ray Lancer. I think it's called the rank 7 that I'll show right now, as we're going to set the full armored Exceed, go onto our opponent's turn, and then when we activate it, on our opponent's turn, we can use the trap card at any point, which will allow us to equip an Exceed monster onto the full armored Dark Knight Lancer. Once per turn, if an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster you control, except during the damage step, you can attach one monster your opponent controls to this card as material, which is a non-targeting removal effect, and just having the effect to either trigger it, whether it be the graveyard effect of the full armored Exceed or having the spell card in order to do it, is just really nice for Zoodiac, which lost Trident, so now it only really has Zeus as removal, and that relies on your opponent. Now this second combo shows a second way to get into your combo, and we're going to start with Small World. We can banish the Droll, reveal the Bell, and we'll be able to get ourselves the Ram. And now, as you saw before, we have access into the same exact play where we'll go into the Fortress, use the Fortress, and if you're going first, you'll set the full Armored Exceed. If you're going second, you have the spell card along with the rest of your hand to play with, which is just really nice, but we'll set the full Armored Exceed and pass on to our opponent. Now this next combo shows the first of a few variants that I'll be talking about, and the first one is going to be Runic. We're going to start with the Tenki, add ourselves the rat. We'll then be able to normal summon the rat. You actually do want to get the rat here, as we're going to then go into the Chaka, use the effect of Chaka, and if you have a Runic spell at this point, you can use the effect of the Runic spell to special summon out a Gary or any other Runic monster, and with this you can go into the SP Little Knight. You have to remember that we can't exceed it away since we do have the Chaka 9's effect, which makes it so that it cannot be used as an Exceed material. So we're going to be able to go into our full armored Exceed, and now you add whichever card depending on the turn. So if you're going first, you're going to get the trap card. If you're going second, you're going to get the spell card. But the entire point of this is just to get the Fortress plus the SP Little Knight. The second engine is Adventure, and this one is pretty cool just because it makes it so that you can play around certain cards with the Omni Negate of Griffin. That said, you still do want to activate the Tenki first, just in case you do get hit by the Droll. Activate the right as we search it off the water, get ourselves the Fateful, then normal summon the rat so that we can get ourselves the addition off of the Fateful for the Draco back. Now we'll be able to use the effect of Fateful in order to get ourselves the Griffin, pitch the Draco. We'll then be able to use the effect of Draco along with the Griffin, special summon out the Griffin. Now we have access into Chaka 9, which means access into full armored Fortress, and then we can use the Fortress effect, which will get the 2 searches, and now we can pass on to our opponent with the Omni Negate. We also have the Exceed card in our hand plus any other card that we opened with, which is just really nice. The next variant features Kashtira, and this is another cool one that you can play because you don't need your normal summon for the Kashtira cards, and having the ability to have Fenrir plus the Unicorn being able to hit potential threats that your opponent may have is really nice. But we're now going to use the effect of the Kashtira Fenrir, and in this case I am going to get the Rise Heart. You can get yourself another copy of Fenrir if you do not want to play Rise Heart, but we're then going to be able to use the effect of Rise Heart, and this will give us access into our Shang Tsung by banishing another Kashtira card from our deck with the Rise Heart so that we can make it level 7. We'll now activate the Tenki, and this does play a little bit harder into Nib, which you kind of have to remember when you choose to play this version, but we're then going to go into the Chaka, go into the Fortress, use the effect of Fortress, get ourselves the 2 searches, and now we can pass on to our opponent. Now, for the final variant, and this one features a card from Phantom Nightmare. It's called Stonewall of the Imperial Tombs. It's a field spell that reads, this card's name becomes King Sarcophagus while in the field zone. During your main phase, you can add one Horus monster from your deck to your hand, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect of Stonewall once per turn. If you activate the effect of Horus, the Black Flame Deity, you can draw one card. That last effect doesn't really matter. The only thing that you want is the ability to search, and you'll see that we have 3 Tenkies in our opening hand, and again we're going to play around the Droll. We're then going to activate the field spell, as we'll be able to add ourselves the Imseti, and now we can put a card back, as we'll use the effect of Imseti, pitching that final Tenki, get ourselves the King Sarcophagus along with a draw, activate the King Sarcophagus. This will get us access into another level 8 into the graveyard. Then we can special summon out the Imseti and the Happy, go into our Photon Lord. So as you can see, it's just another way to play around hand traps, as we're going to use the effect of the Rat, sending the Ram, and then we can go into our Chaka, go into our Fortress, use the effect of Fortress in order to get our 2 Exceed cards, as we'll then be able to set the full Armored Exceed and pass on to our opponent. So with all of the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and I'm only going to be showing one because what you can change from the deck is actually really easy. If you want to play something like the Horus package and you need 10 slots, you have the Pot of Prosperities along with 7 Runic quick plays that kind of make up for what you need. Then same thing with the Adventure, you have stuff like the Runic card along with your Bunny Blast and the Called by the Grave that you can take out. You can also only play one of the full Armored Exceed, and the same thing goes with every other engine that you see here. Now, I would like to point out that while I was working on this video, I did happen to see that there was a regional top 4 list that I'll be linking at the bottom. It was like a weird 60 card pile that played some of these engines, but if you want to see another take at it, I would suggest checking the link down in the description. That said, as you can see, the main point of this version is just getting into your full Armored Exceed cards, and you have so many ways to do it, where if you played Zoo at any point during this game's history, then you know that one card means combo with this deck, and while that wasn't necessarily the case after the Broad Bull and the Trident bans, we did get cards over time with these Exceed cards that made it that way again. Now you'll notice that we are on somewhat of a small Exceed package here for the Zoo cards, and that can definitely be seen as a downside to playing the Exceed cards. Same thing with the Runic fusions. That said, it doesn't hurt the deck as much as one would think it would, just because we have cards like Zeus, we also have our Typhon, the SP Little Knight, different things that you can make. You'll also see that we're on the Dweller because we are on the Runic spells, so if you choose not to play the Runic spells, this is something else that you can take out, but I just felt it was nice because Dweller can be an FTK versus certain matchups. Then I would also like to talk about the Crystal Zero Lancer, and the Crystal Zero Lancer is solid as well because it can help protect your full armored plays from destruction, like a random Dark Hole or whatever. Now, with that said, I don't have much else to say about the deck profile just because it's so straightforward. You get a Zoo and you go into your armored cards, you set a couple cards, and you have hand traps to play with, along with the other potential going second engines that you might play, whether it be Kashtira or even more going second cards if you don't want to play the Runic stuff. I just felt like playing the Runic stuff in this particular version felt nice, because if you wanted to keep it at 40 instead of going to 60 like that other list did with all of the different engines, you still do kind of want to keep the going second count high, in my opinion, and playing the Exceed cards just add in bricks to the deck, which make those going second cards a little bit more important, in my opinion, because you want to be able to slow your opponent down to your pace. But with that said, I'll take you onto the card by card, and we have the 3 Tenki, the 3 Small World, the 3 Prosperity, the 3 Tip, the 2 Freezing Curse, the 1 Destruction, the 1 Flames, the 1 Called By, 3 Ram, the 3 Whiptail, the 1 Bunny, the 1 Rat, the 3 Thoroughblade. We then have the 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Ghost Bell, the 3 Droll, the 1 Armored Exceed, the 2 Full Armored Exceed. Then we have the 2 Chaka Nines, the 1 Borbo, the 1 Hammer Kong, the 1 Tiger Mortar. We then have the 1 Dweller, the 2 Fortress, the 2 Dark Ray Lancer. We then have the 1 Zeus, Typhon, Gary, along with the Sleeping Mane, SP Little Knight to round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 700 plus subs. You guys have been killing it recently, and I truly appreciate your support. We've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships, which means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. To get the channel membership, just click on the description below, and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing out.